Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, whether you're watching it in the afternoon, or whether you're watching it in the evening, I'm glad you are here. First thing I want to do is take a quick second and say thank you to the channel members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to take a second and say thank you for any of you who've taken the time to subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell notification down there. And I want to say thank you for anyone who just finds their way in here to check out some knife and EDC content. I'm glad to have you here too. Today we are going to look at this really neat little knife. It's a design collaboration between, I can't pronounce the name, Tiguass, something like that, and CMB Knives. And this is the CMB Knives Premium Sasori. This is Tiguass's maker's mark, and that's the CMB maker's mark on that titanium clip. This knife is very unique, very many different ways. I look at it as a primary aggressive gentleman's folder with a couple of nitpicks, things that I wish were just a little different. But what is perfect for me is the size of the knife for a small EDC carry. It goes in and out of the pocket like nobody's business, all the way down to right here where you've got very little of the knife exposed. This one is in black titanium with a M390 blade that is compound ground and recurved, and beautiful swedge, all done hand ground. Very unique. The lock bar, frame lock, does have a steel lock bar insert, and the detent is snappy. Whether you push button it or whether you light switch it, it comes straight to life. You can grip it back here. I like to grip it right here. I know that's probably not the smartest grip, but I can rest my thumb, and as I've been using it to cut through cardboard, to cut through paper, to cut through some paracord that I had to kind of trim down, and to cut open cat bags, guys. Those things aren't the easiest things to cut through. Some of those are getting thicker and thicker. Let's run it through some paper. What I noticed about it was its mini grinds. The mini grinds of the Sasori. So you got this long belly up front, kind of a traditional belly up front. And then you've got this ripping recurve here at the back. So this knife is slicey. This knife is also very pokey. I would say dangerously so. Not only is it a splinter digger, it's an absolute slurpee saver. This is a kind of knife that you could really get up on some, threats or danger should you have to. Not that you would ever want to, but that would be an aggressive one to approach to try to fend off said imaginary person you'll hopefully never see. But yeah, very light package. Well done, nice backspacer. You've got T8 hardware on the pivot, T6 everywhere else. The pocket clip is internal, so you take it apart, keeps you from having an exposed screw here. The clip, I think, is done very well, not only the way it works in the pocket, the way it feels, or should I say doesn't feel in the hand. And I like that that's what they reserved for their maker's marks, respectively. And then you've got this very small M390 that you can barely read right here by the flipper tab, and you don't have another marking on this blade. I think it's beautiful. What do I wish was different? For one, I'm intimidated by recurves. So if I was going to keep the recurve, and this is just nitpicky things, guys, that are subjective, that I would have liked to seen. Let's say in a perfect world, this would be straight. And it would come out and it would meld up here somewhere, but this would be a straight hollow ground. In my personal, and I'm not Tiguass. I don't know the design behind it. It seems beautiful. These are not gripes, complaints. They're just things I would like to see different. If we were going to keep the recurve, it seemed like it would have been, for some reason, it just seems like there's this little bit of recurve, and then I don't understand how these grinds tie in. It almost seems like if we brought the recurve up to where this meets, where you had kind of, you know, equally spaced apart a little bit more, but it cuts very well. I can sharpen that recurve very well with a regular stone. Just really well done knife. I would feel much more comfortable, personally, this is just my use case, if it was straight. I would be much more likely to go out and buy it if it was straight, just because this is not recurves. If you guys have watched the channels, you know those are the type of things I run away from because I'm not comfortable sharpening them. Granted, this knife, the way it's set up and the blade geometry on it is very, very slicey. I can't stress to you how thin this hollow grind is back here. And then you've got this really nice conforming belly there. Let's do a couple of quick size comparisons. And what I did is I thought at first it was going to be a smaller knife. But when I got to breaking out some of our comparison knives, I thought it was going to be baby bug out size. I was wrong, guys. I've been carrying this in my pocket thinking of what a tiny knife it is, but it hides so much of the blade in that handle that you've got a lot of blade in a little knife. So we look at this next to the mini 945. And looking at about a full-size 945, it's closer to the full-size 945 than it is the mini. So it is a good-sized knife. I find it very comfortable. I like to hold it right here. Probably not the ideal place, but if there's a flipper tab that works in its rest or its open position to where it gives me a trigger, my finger seems to go to that space. But the way that this knife cuts, you can do roll cuts with it up here. You can do push cuts, pull cuts, detail cuts. You can tips high, of course, but you can get that tip down if you're doing those kind of detail cuts. For the things that I use it for, EDC type stuff, opening packages, slicing open bags of cat food, cutting through some paracord to tie down some miscellaneous items, things like that, it's a great knife. For an office carry, it would be a fantastic knife because I look at it as a gentleman's carry. The blade is completely exposed. It doesn't come out the end there, but it takes up every bit of it. Perfectly centered. Not drop shutty. You can shake it shut. It doesn't fall shut. Reason being is that blade is so light. It's slender and it's got very little mass with the recurve and just with the dainty nature of the blade. So you don't have that blade's mass bringing it down. You've got to give it a little help. But it does fall smoothly. I haven't taken it apart yet. I am going to do a video on this knife, breaking it down, doing a skiff upgrade, trying to. We'll take out our T8 pivot here, and we'll take out our T6 pivot. I think that's all we'll need to disengage to get in there and look at those bearings. But it's a neat little knife, guys. Not a knife that would normally be on my radar, but a knife that I really like. Would I buy this knife? On John's, what would he normally buy? Probably not. This would not catch my eye for a couple of reasons. The recurve is kind of something I've stayed away from in my collecting. So I would probably not be the market that this knife was made for. However, that being said, now that I have this knife and CMB sent it to me, I can definitely see myself carrying it because I've been carrying it now pretty constantly for about 4 days, and I like having it in my pocket. It just feels really good. And for what I'm cutting open, it cuts it open very well. The knife is extremely light. Let's see if we get some dimensions here. And it's just a joy to carry. It's a very understated, minimalist ice pick. 7 1/4 inches overall, with a 3 1/4 inch blade, 4-inch handle. Your inside dimension is 3 1/2 inches. So you got 3 1/2 inches from right here to right here. Where I rest my finger, you're right at about 3 3/4 inches. I like to let mine hang right here. Not as safe. probably be better off if you stayed back here, and that's 3.5 inches. That's about the exact same width of my hand, so it fits me perfectly like a glove. It does have some interesting blade stock. Might be worth, before we weigh it, seeing how much our grinds vary. So let's go to the middle where the thickness of the blade is. 0.129, and then up here at the swedge, it is milled back to 0.10. Let's go down here and go behind the edge on this hollow grind. 0.0130 on the belly. 0.0185. So it goes 0.30 to 05. And I'm guessing the handle is going to be right around 1/2 inch. 0.4835. Height of the blade, roughly 0.77, under an inch, about 3/4 of an inch. And then finally we'll break out our little scale, and we will see where this little 3¼ inch blade tips it. For a titanium knife, it's light, 2.6 ounces. That's perfect for the size blade and size handle. I think that's what I would consider a very well proportioned, balanced knife. Again, guys, what do y'all think about it? Leave me some comments and let me know what you think. I'd be interested to see what you guys think. When it first came in, I was kind of like, "Ew, that's kind of weird," because again, I'm scared of recurves. But then the more I carried it, the more I use it. It's got such a low profile in the pocket. It gives me Shirogorov vibes in some weird way. This detent is so snappy. I cannot stress that enough. Whether you finger push it or light switch it, it's got very commanding detent. But great little knife. I'm stoked to have. CMB sent it to me for the review to check out, and I appreciate that from them. So I'm going to get this up, and hopefully you guys will kind of give me your thoughts, your feedback. Some of y'all might own this knife. I think it's right now on sale. I know Amazon carries them, had a few of them on their Black Friday sale. I'll leave links to all this stuff when I post it, and you can get them at CMB too. Great knife. I've enjoyed it. Cannot find anything wrong with it, with the exception of those little things that I pointed out. The fact that the recurve seems a little short here, but I didn't design it, so I don't have the really right to speak on that. I would rather that be straight just for me, but there's a purpose that I'm not aware of. But I just love it. I love the look of it. I love the action. I love the feel of it. I would like to have T8s in these 2 screws. I think they could do that. They're big enough screws to make those 2 8s because you only got 2 places. But outside of that, guys, I think it's a winner. A neat little knife, unique little knife, and thanks for stopping by and checking it out with me. Guys, do me a favor before you go. If you're so inclined, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. But most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose debate, not hate. I love y'all. Peace.